birthday plans, girl, you got it.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a natural glam for y'all with eyebrows last. So if you want to see how I got this look, keep on watching. I'm going to start off with the eyeshadow. I already prepped her lid. So we're going to hop into using our Juvia's Place bronzer. And I'm going to use this one bronzer as her eyeshadow over her entire lid. Because we just used one eyeshadow, it should move pretty quickly, and then we're going to go into using our foundation to carve out the top of her eyebrows. For her foundation, I take NARS and I do 2 pumps of Tahoe and 2 pumps of Macao, and I just mix them together. I use my flat concealer brush to apply it to her face, and then I use this foundation brush to buff it out. When you're buffing out the foundation, make sure you move the hair back so you can get all the way up to the earlobes and you can go a little bit underneath the jawline. Please make sure you blend up to the earlobes and underneath the jawline so you can't see the line of demarcation between the makeup and where her actual skin starts. You want to make sure you do this every single time, no exceptions. Even if you feel like the foundation is blended directly all the way into her skin, you still always want to make sure the edges are blended out. Next, I'm going to take my Too Faced concealer in the shade Warm Beige, and I'm going to use this to highlight all over her face. This concealer is going to be used to highlight underneath her eyes, on her chin, the bridge of her nose, and her forehead. I'm applying my concealer the same way I would apply my foundation, using my brush and making sure the product is flat on her skin. Now I'm going to take the same brush I used for foundation and I'm just going to blend out the edges of that concealer, making sure I'm not disturbing the inside of the concealer. You want to let the concealer on the inside sit a little more so it can build up a little bit of coverage. So as you can see, everywhere except the chin, I'm going to blend out just the edges. The chin area, you want to make sure you blend out all the way. And make sure you get underneath the chin so there's no harsh lines from where her foundation stops and her skin starts. Taking my brush, I'm going to blend up and down on the concealer I put on her nose, making sure I keep a straight line. And then I'm going to blend out the edges of the concealer underneath the eye. Make sure you blend out the edges of the concealer first. It'll act as a guide so that way you don't blend the concealer too far up your nose. If y'all don't know, I am a bronzer before liquid blush girl, but today I decided to switch it up and do liquid blush first. I apply one of my favorite liquid blushes from Juvia's Place in the shade Blush Lily. I apply it right above her cheekbones, and then I'm going to take this contour brush just to blend it out. Now I'm going to use that same brush to apply my contour. I'm using Black Opal foundation stick in the shade Suede Mocha. I dab my brush into my contour stick and then I apply it to her face. After I apply it to her cheeks, I just take whatever is left on my brush and I use that to bronze her forehead, slowly adding more bronzer from my foundation stick. I don't like using a lot of product on the forehead, especially when my girls have lace. So where I'm blending her contour, I don't have foundation underneath. After the forehead is blended to your liking, it's time to move on to the next step, and that is brightening concealer. Lately, I've been really loving a bright under eye, so I'm going to use light beige from Too Faced as well. I'm going to apply that closer to her nose area, and then I'm going to take that brush and blend out the edges. I like to go back and forth between the brush and the brush I use to blend out her nose contour, so that way I can make sure everything is seamless. You want to think of it the same way you do eyeshadow. Sometimes we go back and forth between different eyeshadow colors, and you want to go back and forth between your brushes on your face too. After I blend out the edges of that brightening concealer, I'm going to have her look up while I use my triangle powder puff to blend out the rest of the concealer. And again, we're going to start with the edges and then go and blend out the inside. I'm bringing this up close to her lash line as possible, but you don't have to go all the way up to the lash line because we're going to apply eyeshadow to the lash line, so it'll sort of cover up any space you didn't blend up all the way towards her eye. Using my Bloodline Beauty's translucent powder, I'm going to set underneath her eyes and all the highlighted areas on her face. I'm using the same triangle powder puff I used to blend out the concealer. The good thing about using a powder puff is that it doesn't pick up a lot of product, so you can always use the same powder puff for something else. We're going to use this same powder to bake her nose and to set her forehead area. I like to set the entire forehead with this translucent powder and then go over the edges with some foundation powder. And right here was when my phone died, but I could not stop the process. I set her face with some Fenty powder and then I'm baking with my Dermablend translucent powder. Feel free to click on one of my other videos so that way you can see my baking process. To contour her face today, I'm using a palette from KKAL Beauty on Instagram. It was probably one of my favorite purchases about 2 years ago, and I've been using the same palette ever since. I'm going to use this palette to warm up her cheeks, her forehead. I'm also going to use this to contour her nose. To contour her nose, I'm going to use a fluffy eyeshadow brush. If I'm not mistaken, this is just a Wet n Wild brush. You can get this for $1 at the dollar store. When it comes to brushes, not everything has to be expensive. As long as you know how to work it, you can get the same results as a $30 brush. And don't you ever let somebody tell you that you can't. And if they do, show them this video, because none of the brushes I used in this entire video cost me over $5. I'm using a MAC blush for her blush today, and people always ask me about this blush shade. y'all, but it is discontinued, so there's no point in me telling y'all what color it is. But MAC does still sell their pot blushes, so you can go on there and find your favorite one. For an extra pop, I'm taking my blush from Bloodline Beauty. This one is a very light pink, close to the liquid blush I use, and I'm just applying this all over to her face and a little bit on her nose. Now I'm going to take that same triangle powder puff and I'm going to reverse contour underneath her cheekbones. This is the process of taking a lighter powder. Today I'm going to use Dermablend, and we're going to apply this on the other side of where we put that contour. Now that that's it for her face, I'm going to take my Absolute Brow Pencil. This pencil literally is $5.99 from the hair store, and I stock up. I usually get about 5 at a time because they don't keep a lot in the stores. For her eyebrows, I'm going to start with the tail end, and I'm just going to create a line at the bottom. Then I'm going to go to the front part of her eyebrows and do light strokes because I want to keep her eyebrows super natural for this look. And then I'm going to go in and start to fill in the top. Because her eyebrows are already completely carved out and concealed, it should be easy to follow a guideline to fill in her eyebrows. Just make sure you keep your pencil really light because it's easy to add color versus taking it off. And then I'm going to add more hair strokes so that way it can blend into the other end of her eyebrows. For her under eye, I lined with black liner, and then I'm going to take my Juvia's Place Coffee Shop palette just to add some color underneath her eyes. I'm going to use the lightest brown and the darkest brown to add some smoke. Then I'm going to take my Better Than Sex waterproof mascara and I'm going to coat her bottom lashes. We're not going to do her top lash today because she has clusters, so we're just going to do her bottom lashes. To line her lips, I'm going to use my ColourPop lip liner in the shade BFF3. I'm going to have her press her lips together so I can see the edges of her lips. You can also have your client smile, but this way it's just easier for me. I'm going to line the bottom of her lips and her Cupid's bow with her lips pressed together, and then I'm going to have her unpress her lips so that way I can line the rest of it. You really only want to use this technique if you overline the lips. If you do not overline your client's lips, you do not have to worry about them pressing their lips together. You should be able to see the edges of their lips without them doing it. I like to add some lip liner to the corner of the lips so that way it can give a seamless ombre. But it's all about what type of lip you're trying to get at the end. My lips give overlined, pouty lips, and every step that I do with the lips lead up to this. But coming from someone who used to only do lip liner and lip gloss for lips, please don't let any of this intimidate you. I know it probably looks like a lot that I'm doing, but after a lot of practice, I promise it'll be secondhand and it'll come so easy. After I blend out the edges of my lip liner, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of lipstick. This is Juvia's Place Mademoiselle, and I mixed it with a little bit of Cloud Concealer from Too Faced, but you can use any white concealer to make the lipstick a little bit lighter. Because the lips is another place on your face, I do not like to have too much product. I apply lipstick to the bottom lip and have them tap their lips together to apply it to the top. After the lipstick is transferred to the top lip, you're just gonna take a disposable lip brush and you're gonna blend out the edges. After the lips are blended to your liking, you're gonna take a clear lip gloss and go over your lip liner. So I'm just applying the clear lip gloss where you see the dark brown around her lips. Then you're going to take your favorite nude lip gloss. This one is from Mocha Makes. I don't remember the specific color, but it is in her Valentine's Trio collection. So if you go to Mocha Makes on Instagram, you should be able to see this exact lip gloss. Or you can head over to Instagram and go to @SHUNTISLAYS and you'll be able to see the company tagged in my videos. After I apply the lip gloss, I'm going to have her pat her lips together to apply it to the top lip and then blend out the edges. When your lips are done, it's time for the finishing touches. We're just going to dust off all of that baking powder. And when I'm dusting off the baking powder, I'm sort of pressing and dusting at the same time. So you want to press the powder into the skin and dust it off the face. After everything is dusted off her face, you want to just go in and apply highlighter. I really don't like to add highlighter all over the face, so I just add highlighter to the tip of the nose, the bridge of the nose, and sometimes I'll go over the eyebrows. After her face is highlighted, I'm going to go through with my Morphe setting spray and I'm going to apply a generous amount of spray to her face. Then I'm going to use my Revolution spray to lock all of her makeup in. And no matter how many times you sit in my chair, I'm always going to warn you that this spray can be quite a lot. Then I'm going to use a fan to dry her face. After that, the look is done and completed. I really hope you guys like following this tutorial. To catch every video I upload, make sure you turn on notifications on. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel and follow me on all my social media at @SHUNTISLAYS. Bye, y'all.